Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, Just Some Bodhi's Opinion. My name is Bodhi, and today I'm going to be doing the Accepted Test, a Wheel of Time book tag. This is a book tag that Riddhima had created a year ago, and a lot of the older booktubers had done it. Yes, guys, a year later, you're now part of the older generation. So, as one of the newer YouTubers, I'm gonna give a go at it, and I'm gonna tag some of the newer YouTubers that I've met in my very short stint, my 1 month stint as a YouTuber. Okay, so let's just dive straight into it. And spoiler alert, I feel I'm gonna be talking spoilers. I'm not sure where or when. I'll probably edit it in. Question one: how did you first hear about the Wheel of Time, and what made you want to read the series? So I first heard about the Wheel of Time in second year high school, and at that point in time, my exposure to fantasy was in David Eddings' Belgariad and Raymond E. Feist's Magician series. And I remember my friend Tim telling me about this magic system where all the men who could use the magic went insane. That was the only description of the book to me, and I found that pretty interesting. So that's what made me get into it. At that point in time, I think it was only up till Winter's Heart. So I did feel part of the slog timeline. And Vance, I'm looking at you. I'm using the definition of slog as per your definition, which is a publishing timeline and not the story itself. Suffice it to say, I was hooked from the prologue and I never turned back. Number two, if you had the chance to join an Aja in the White Tower, which one would you join? Based on which one you pick, answer the corresponding question. Okay, I am a brown Aja through and through. If you recall the Wheel of Time trailer where you see the hall and you see all the Ajas and you see all the browns and they all look disheveled as if they all just woke up doing other more important things like curling up to a book by the fire, that's me. I am a brown Aja through and through. Okay, the question for brown Aja was, what is your favorite piece of lore or world building? Okay, I think this is something that a lot of people would say, but definitely in The Shadow Rising, it was Ruidian and the history of the Aiel. And it was so amazing how Robert Jordan wrote that entire sequence. And Robert Jordan is a master, right? Is a supreme master in layering his entire story with these bits and clues. And it is just so amazing how learning the story of the Aiel, how many destinies were changed or shaped because of all the actions that were within that. So from the water sharing and the history with the Kyrianin, and then the split of the Gen Aiel and the warrior Aiel, and then even before that the split between the Lost Ones and the Gen Aiel. That was just so great to see, and it was so great to see the world that came before, and it was just so great to experience the breaking, and like as a narrative choice that was so good. So my favorite piece of lore or world building, definitely the history of the Aiel. Okay, number three, spoilers, Lord of Chaos. So I guess anyone who hasn't read Lord of Chaos, spoiler alert. If the Black Tower had Ajas, what might some of them be? Well, honestly, for the fourth age, meaning after the books, I would imagine that they would integrate with the White Tower and it would be exactly the same as the White Tower because modern era Black Tower has been operating for too short a time to have Ajas because the Ajas aren't departments, right? I would call them political associations. They are not functions. Like meaning intelligence gathering is done across Ajas. It's not done by a particular Aja, even if the blues have the best one. The yellows don't have all the healers, nor do the greens have all the battle ones, right? It's just a set of beliefs. So I think they'd have exactly the same ones. I think. Okay, question number four: who's a character you love but would hate to meet in real life? Okay, I've been saying this in my past few Wheel of Time book reviews, but I super love Rand and his character development. That being said, I do not want to meet Rand, especially in his Darth Rand moments. Now, season one Rand looks very cute and very approachable, but after that, my goodness, I do not want to be around that Rand. And I don't want to be around Jesus Rand either, because that's just intimidating. Number five. Who's a character from another book that would make a good warder? So the last book I read was The Three Body Problem. So that was sci-fi, and there weren't any warriors there. Uh, Maybe I would say Thomas from the Magician series of Raymond Feist, but I think that's too overpowered. This is a bad question for me. Pass, unless I remember something while going through the others. Number six. What's a scene from the books you're most excited to see on screen? One of my most favorite parts in the early books was Rand meeting the Amerlin. That was such a good scene for me, especially with the lead up to it, where Lan was like telling him all of these things to prepare him, with all these borderland traditions. I just found that so cool, especially where, Lan snaps, cat crosses the courtyard, is it? And then, he saunters in. I really want to see that. I don't know how they're gonna move it around in the show, but I really hope we get to see a Rand Swan meetup. Number seven. What are your favorite and least favorite book covers? Okay, favorite, hands down, A Memory of Light. That was the best book cover. And my least favorite book cover, that's a toss up between Lord of Chaos and Crown of Swords. Lord of Chaos because Rand's looking like a middle aged man versus the 20-year-old boy we know, and then it's just not an appealing cover. And then there's this drag car flying around. There's this flying thing at the background, and then you don't know why there's a flying thing because number one, there were no drag car at that point in time, nor were there Shanshan and Reiken. So what was that? And then Crown of Swords had this, super jacked up Rand looking at the cover within Shatter Logoth. Actually, that was so bad it was good. I revised my statement. Lord of Chaos is the worst cover, in my opinion. Number eight. What's a location in the Wheel of Time you'd like to visit? The Two Rivers. Emmons Field, basically. I would go to the wine spring and have some honey cakes from Marin Elvier. Number nine. If you could make your own Terangriel, what would it look like and what would it do? If I were to make my own Terangriel, actually I would steal this from the books because it wasn't an actual Terangriel in the books, but I would like to create what Samael had tricked the Shido into taking, which were the traveling boxes. And I would love to have a Terangriel that I could just press and then hopefully it's like voice activated and I'd be like, Siri, bring me to Camelin. Like that would be such a cool and game changing Terangriel. Number 10. What's another book or series you think Wheel of Time fans might like? In general, most of you Wheel of Time fans are already purveyors of all fantasy, but I really want to suggest the Empire trilogy that Janny Wirtz had co-written with Raymond Feist. So it's set within the world of magician, right? But this was with the Tsurani, and I feel like that was such fantastic world building for the Tsurani, who I found very Shanchan like, right? It was an invader from across worlds, but it's a very imperialistic Eastern vibe. And Johnny Wirtz was able to really make that real versus just that one sided view that we were able to see in the books. Anyway, so that was my accepted test. I always find it super interesting listening to how people got into the Wheel of Time. So I'm looking forward to seeing the rest of these accepted tests. So I forgot the last part, which was to tag the Wheel of Time content creators. So I would like to tag Chantal of the Ringed Serpent. I would like to tag Sarah and Mary Lou of the Maidens of the Spear, Critter XD, Rebecca Sedai and Adalorna Sedai of North Harbor Podcast, wherever North Harbor is. You know men can't find that. And Josh Neller, I know you're just starting with the Wheel of Time, but if you'd like to do it, I'd invite you to do it. And finally, Foretelling Prime, I just subscribed to you, so I'm tagging you now into this accepted test. But for now, like and subscribe, comment down below what you thought about it, and I'll see you next time. Somebody's opinion.